My coach was an asshole, Doug Marone, probably still coaching in the league somewhere. Most asshole person I've ever been around. Not afraid to say that. So I'm looking back like this, just trying to gauge the ball, and boop, right off my helmet. That moment is what stamped me as one of them ones.
Well, Marquise, appreciate you being here.
Hey, it's a pleasure.
I wanted to start right off. You know, I know that track runs deep with you, track and field. But was it always like track and field and football from the get-go, or what kind of came first?
Yeah, it was always both. Obviously, one season comes before another.
Yeah.
So I started running track first, the summer of 1999, and then I ended up doing football the following fall. And they became two of my passions in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting right into it in high school, did you ever feel any like pressure from coaches to focus on one, or even internal pressure from you? Did you ever feel like, hey, maybe there's one of these that I'd rather focus on? Was it always just, that was kind of life for you, like the duality of both track and field and football?
Crazy story. So to answer your question, in short, I was always pressured. I mean, from high school all the way through professional. But what made me do both is because I was my sister was born with cerebral palsy, and she never walked a day in her life. So I feel like I'd be doing her a disservice to not use my blessings and my gifts that God blessed me with by choosing just one sport when I'm fully capable of doing two.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, do you remember kind of what was your first athletic scholarship?
My first athletic scholarship, like my offer or scholar? My first offer, I think, was from Cornell University.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And then followed by Princeton, and it was for track and field.
Yeah. And that was actually my next question is, what is it when you're dominant in both sports, do schools kind of have like a package deal? Is it like, hey, you can play, you can run track and field and we want you to play football? In the case of Texas, of course, but like Cornell, what did they wanted track and field for you?
They wanted, it started as track and field because I was so like known on a national scale at a very young age for track and field. Obviously football takes a little time because it's a team sport, so you're not really like recognized for individual achievements unless you're like a Mark Henry, who is having 2,500 yards a year in high school, you know. But that wasn't necessarily the case for me. So I was kind of a late bloomer with football. With track, I was winning national championships from 9 years old all the way through high school, college, you know, professional. So yeah.
Yeah, and what was the moment in your life, or actually, what was the moment in high school that you realized your speed was different? Was it in football, or was it in track and field, or probably both, kind of?
It was both, really. But I knew I was pretty elite my freshman year of high school when I was already the fastest guy in my school, one of the top guys in the district, and in our area in Dallas. And I just knew that I was gifted. Yeah,
and I'm sure, you know, as it is with football and track and field, I'm sure it's the same way. You know, things are kind of different here in Texas. Like the competition is steep. Was there, I mean, I was reading about just like your dominance, but was there anybody that even came remotely close to your speed in high school at all?
Yeah, it was a few guys who actually beat me in some key races. I ended up being like the top of the nation, but I lost state both years in the 100. Which was surprising to everybody because I dominated throughout the year, but I also had 5 events, not making an excuse, that I had to perform on in one day. Whereas, you know, the guys who end up winning, that was like their main focus.
Yeah.
And so in saying that, it's credit to those guys because one of the guys, Pretzel Hardy, he ended up going on to Texas A&M and becoming like a multiple-time All-American in the 100 meters, and you know, represented the U.S. on a couple of occasions. So, yeah, I mean, but as far as in my school and in my district, I can't really name anybody who was really there, except for one of my teammates actually who We grew up together running against each other. We ended up becoming teammates my last 2 years at UT for track and field, Alex Williams.
Definitely. And so Cornell was the first offer. Was it kind of a domino effect after that in terms of offers?
Yeah, I mean, I got Ivy League like really tapped in for real early because I did really well in school, and so they was just trying to get talent. You know what I mean? I didn't live with my family in high school. I bounced around to 4 different families, so I was just really trying to see where I could go for free. And so I was actually thinking about the Princetons and Cornells and, going to get a good education because obviously sports has its ceiling, after so long, it's over with. And so, but your knowledge is forever. So I was really thinking about that, and which UT kind of, intrigued me in that aspect. Texas and Texas A&M were my top 2 schools.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I didn't even get offered in football by Texas.
Oh,
which is crazy.
Yeah. And really, but Texas A&M did offer you in football?
Yeah, they offered me in football and track.
Yeah, and I'm sure, I can imagine you mentioned your sister and the proximity to her and what was home to you was one of the main drivers for, Texas. Is that?
Oh, yeah. Being close to home, that was the main focal point for me. I mean, obviously, that's what ultimately stopped me from going to any Power 5 schools outside of Texas, just because I had to stay close to home in case, I did need to go home and help my mom with my sister or just be around.
Yeah. And what was it that, I guess, really sold you on, aside from the proximity to home, what was it that really sold you on Texas relative to your point, going to Texas A&M?
The winning tradition. And I knew, like, when I had traveled overseas to represent the U.S. in my junior teams, I saw Longhorns everywhere. I would see people in the UK, people in Africa who didn't even know about the university, but they would be wearing the logo. Same with the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they may not know much about the team, but the logo just held such prestige all around the world, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah. I think I read a story, or I did a story one time on, I think there's a Longhorns bar in like the Middle East. Like, it's totally random. I was like, what? And but to your point, it's the Longhorns, University of Texas, is such a national brand. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I went to University of Oregon. I'm an Oregon guy.
Oh, I love Oregon.
But like,
that was my number 3.
Was it really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Track 10 USA, baby. Come on now.
I got chills.
Yeah. Excuse me, but it's just incredible to see. You mentioned the Dallas Cowboys too, but some of these college teams and college brands, if you will, just be such national and even worldwide brands. I mean, it's wild. To your point, people abroad that don't even know University of Texas are rocking the Longhorn.
Right.
It's just wild. And so, I guess my next question is like, during not trying to age you, I know it wasn't that long time ago, but during your time, I guess in current day, you see so many celebrities on the sidelines. You see McConaughey, Big S the Plug was like involved with the team. Was that kind of similar when you were playing at Texas? Was there similar like star-studded sidelines as there is now?
Matthew has always been around, but it just wasn't as star-studded as it is in the modern era of football. I think social media wasn't that big of a deal when I was in college. Instagram had just started. And so, even taking photos was not such a big deal. Like, I look back and I'm like, dang, I don't even have that many photos. They got photos of them drinking water on the sideline. You know what I mean? Like, so I think the social aspect is a little different, which, it affords them to have these stars who want to be seen and get their brands out and kind of cross-brand with each other.
Yeah. And did you kind of have a welcome to college football moment, whether it was in practice, whether it was in a certain game? Was there something that really you're like, oh, okay, we're on a stage here?
Yes, so I'm working on my autobiography, so whoever's watching this will read this in the autobiography, but you're the first person I'm telling it to. My welcome to college football was when it was my freshman year, very first game at UT, home game. I'm the speed guy. They line me up on the right side. They throw a deep ball to me. I'm looking up, and I just get lost, and in the noise and just in the moment, Colt McCoy, he threw the ball up to me, and it hit me right in the face mask. Like I had outran the ball too much, but I was trying to adjust to it. So I'm looking back like this, just trying to gauge the ball, and boom, right off my helmet. And I come to the sideline, and where I went to high school, my coaches weren't allowed to curse. But at UT, this professional almost. Yeah. Like, my coach just ripped me a new one. Like, he just got up in me, like, pause. And, yeah, it was really eye-opening because I'm like, dang, I had never had a coach really come at me like that. And I realized how serious winning was here and how serious, like, everybody's job is.
Yeah, for like, a lack of better terms, you almost kind of went numb in that moment, because I was talking to Garrett Gilbert yesterday, and he talked about his experience, of course, playing Alabama in the
national championship. Couldn't find his helmet.
He was like, I went in for injured Colt McCoy, and I blinked, and all of a sudden it was halftime. And I'm like, dude, you must have just been in like a flow state, because it was just, he was like, yeah, it was just so almost numbing. He couldn't comprehend that moment, you know? So it's probably the same kind of for you. You're just like, wow, this is coming towards me, and look at the grand stage I'm on, and all of a sudden, boop, you know?
Well, first of all, I was a walk-on.
Yeah.
And then I earned my scholarship within a few days. Like, they like, yeah, we made a mistake. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. But shout out to Coach Brown for the football scholarship, changed my life. But yeah, I came in, and I just kept my head down and grinded and really, really got to it. And they had only offered one other receiver that year, Greg Timmons, and things didn't pan out for him at UT. It's a hard school. Like, it's much bigger than just athletics.
Oh, for sure.
Academics play a huge role, and you know that gets a lot of 5-star people. They come in and think like they see the red carpet laid out for them. Guess what? Outside that football field, those professors do not care, and they shouldn't, because that's the real world.
%. And you know, you are a student athlete, student
Absolutely.
first, and I'm glad you brought up, you know, grades and like your education, because I wanted to touch on that. You know, it's one thing to be like a student athlete, but you were a student athlete, an athlete 2 times in different sports, but also you mentioned your sister, your family, and how did you juggle everything, man? Like, what was like a normal day for Marquise back then?
Well, in college?
Yeah.
Man, it was busy, man. Busy. It depends on what time of the year, but I'll give you my busiest time of the year. I would have 6 a.m. weights. My day started at 6 a.m. pretty much every day. Yeah. I'd do 6 a.m. weights. Then it would be followed by a study hall, and then I'd have to go and do, or not study hall, I'd go to class. Classes started by 8 a.m., so I'm showering, trying to rush to class, sweating. I do my classes from 8 until, let's say, 2 o'clock, when we would have football. And then I would go and do track following that. I'd go A and B days, switching on and off between football and track. And more school if I'd had a night class, and then I'd have mandatory study hall for 2 hours each day. So, yeah, that was... And then on top of that, I'm having to figure out how to talk to my mom and my sister and my family. I'm the oldest of 12 kids. My mom had 4 kids. I'm my mom's only son. So just juggling everything, you know, it was really mentally and physically taxing for me, but it wasn't impossible.
Yeah.
It made it happen.
And I wanted to, you know, dive even a little deeper. Like, were there ever moments where you just kind of had to check on yourself and just pause a little bit? Because that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't really party too much, so that's when I would use getting my time of solace and really just check in with myself and realign myself, and I did that daily. Yeah, I think everybody needs that time of self-reflection to be able to know yourself, because you spend so much time trying to appease all of these people in college. You want to make good grades. You want your professors to like you. You want your coaches to be enamored by your performance. But what about the time that, what about yourself? What do you think of yourself? So I take time for myself every day. I pray, I read my word, and people like Garrett Gilbert, Colt McCoy, the Earl Thomas, they would, uplift me and spend time with me as well, because those guys really weren't big on the scene, just really forward focused on the task.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, in today's college football era with NIL, and I think it's obviously it's great that players are getting paid. It's just, but I think sometimes maybe they get a little caught up in the money aspect of things, and I just wanted to touch. I think mental health is really important, so I appreciate you being vulnerable and talk about that.
Definitely therapy. Yeah. Also is a big part of my life still.
Yeah,
and has always been. Dealing with some of the things that I've had to endure coming up, being essentially homeless and living with different families, and then rekindling a relationship with my mom, who's one of my best friends, and just having to search for peace within myself. Therapy has helped that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Super, super important, and appreciate you touching on that. Kind of transitioning back to football a little bit, or college football a little bit. Was there anybody on the football field, whether your teammate or even other people you see around the NCAA, that could compare to your speed?
Around the NCAA, yes, Jeffrey Demps.
Demps, yep.
Yeah, he was one of my USA teammates in 2012, the Olympic team in London. But he was also known as a speed demon, crazy fast. NCAA champion in 100 meters. As far as any other person that did crossover, I can't name.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think when, let's see, this was Tavon Austin was around that era, wasn't it?
Yeah. Tavon, yeah, we came out the same year. Yeah, we actually were in the combine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think DeAnthony Thomas was around that time. That might have been a little bit before.
DeAnthony he was after me. Yeah. So I'm a real track guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a slight difference between. It's a big difference between somebody who's fast in football and straight linear 100 meter speed. Yeah.
Definitely I think at least for DeAnthony's sake, super quick, but in terms of the straight line speed.
Yeah, him and Tavon have elite quickness and elite in-game speed. Yeah. It's unmatched by the fastest guys.
Yeah.
Because they make the best decisions with their movements, and they know how to set people up. For me, I had really good straight line, I'm beating you in a race.
Yeah. And after that first long jump championship in 2010, again, I just want to check your mindset in that moment. Were you ever man, maybe I should just do this full time, do track and field full time, or?
I've never thought about doing track full time.
Yeah.
You know why? I'm gonna be honest. I always thought about how much money I can make, because if you've been homeless before, sometimes having enough money to sustain is all that matters. And that's your biggest driving force. And I know that that's not the popular answer that people may say or that people want to hear, but that's my honest to God truth. I was looking for a way to help my mom get off of Section 8 housing, help myself live a lifestyle that I always imagined to. And I knew that me long jumping would not help me sustain and attain that.
Yeah. Yeah, you want
just realistically.
Yeah, feed your family, give back to your family. Yeah, 100%. And with that in mind, you have an awesome career at Texas. And really quickly, I just want to ask you, was there a moment that really stood out in your entire athletic career at University of Texas?
A moment that stood out. I got a few moments. I'll do one for football and one for track. My moment that stood out for me in football was my first ever touchdown, which happened to be versus the Oklahoma Sooners. And
I think I know which one you're gonna talk about.
yes, sir. I caught a slant and shook Buddy off my shoulders and high stepped into the end zone. That was a pivotal moment for me because that is the moment where I felt like I arrived as a football player. Not like I'm here, I'm him, but I'm finally going to be seen as a football player and not this track guy who is just trying to play football. Jordan Shipley didn't even score in that game, and he was like all world in college, you know? And so I just felt like that was my moment. And for track, I would say winning my second U.S. championship. By that time, I had won 2 NCAA championships and 1 USA championship the year before. But the Olympic trials, that is what, I guess what I would say, that moment is what stamped me as one of them ones. Because I won the Olympic trials. I beat my idol, my track idol, Dwight Phillips, and he's an Olympic champion in long jump, 5-time world champion. I beat him, and that was kind of my moment of like, yeah, I can make something shake for real.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be remembered.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, you graduate from Texas, and what's kind of the timeline between NFL draft and the London Olympics?
The London Olympics was, it finished like August 4th, 2012, and then the NFL draft was February, March 2013.
Yeah. And how did you kind of, I mean, you know, how did you kind of gauge both of those? How did you kind of prep? Because it's one thing to just prep for one of them. I mean, how did you kind of prep for both and think about both?
Honestly, I didn't really even have to prep for the draft. I knew if I just got my foot in the door, I'd have an opportunity. Yeah. I didn't even expect to go third round because my projected round was like 5 or 6, and I was fine with that. It's like I said, as long as I get in the door, I'm in the party, baby.
Yeah,
you know. And so I went and trained with Michael Johnson, who is real renowned track athlete. This guy I think he's only won gold medals in his tenure as a track athlete. Went and trained with him at MJP in Dallas. And I knew that I was going to run the fastest at the combine. I knew that I was going to do well in all the tests because it's like track test.
Like track test, yeah.
Yeah. Broad jump, vertical, everything. So as long as I caught the ball well and just knew certain nuances of football, I do really well.
Yeah. And, you know, we met just a second ago, we mentioned Tavon Austin, and at the combine, I think both of your first unofficial times were 4.25. Were there some discussions before between you guys of like, I'm about to get you, or was it just what it is?
It just was what it was because we competed against each other in college, so we weren't familiar with each other outside of football. Outside of playing, like we never had any conversations or anything. It wasn't until after, you know, the combine when I performed, because I don't think I was on anybody's radar for real.
Yeah.
Like I was a really, really good track athlete in everybody's eyes, but he could play football, but nobody really believed that I would go to the league, you know. Yeah. And which was crazy. But as far as the 40, the combine, like they tried to sabotage everything. He ran 4.25. He was up before me, and then I ran after him, and I ran a 4.25. So they put our races next to each other.
I watched that.
And then they changed his time. Like, why wasn't my time not changed?
Yeah.
I knew, like, it was people on the internet. Twitter was a thing back then over Instagram. People were saying, yeah, I got him at 4.11. I got him at 4.12, 4.17, 4.19. Yeah, so I always think about that, and that conversation comes up a lot. Like, what did you run in your 40? I'm like, yeah, I ran 4.2, but I think I'm faster.
Well, even I literally watched it like last night. I think even the commentators were like, the times say 4:25, but it looks like Marquise got him at the end there. So, yeah. But I guess I am curious, like, whether it's just in your own time or pro day or something. What is your fastest ever 40?
My fastest ever 40, 4:11.
What?
Yeah.
When did that happen? Where was that at?
That was at the combine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go and, yeah, they have times now. See, it's hard to believe these times, honestly, because we don't use fully automated timing systems like we do in track and field.
Yeah.
Now I've been running 4.2 and 4.2 lows since high school.
Yeah.
I think I ran 4.26 multiple times.
In high school?
Yeah, in high school. I think that's my high school record, but
Yeah.
who's to say? You can't rely on a hand. That's why you got the fully automated timing system.
Yeah. And in terms of the combine as a whole, when I got the opportunity to speak with Trevor Knight and also Kenyon Barner, and both
I ran against them.
Yeah, but both those guys were just talking about how like kind of odd the combine is. Did you kind of feel? Yeah, did you kind of feel the same way? It's a little weird.
It is very weird, man. It's a weird experience for sure. Like, definitely unconventional.
Yeah. Are there kind of some moments that you're able to share that stood out, maybe that were just?
Yeah, I'll share it. I didn't like anything about the combine for one. We were up so early. It's hard to perform at 6 in the morning. You know, you're getting up at 4:30 to prepare yourself, or if you're rolling out of the bed at 5 and you're not going to sleep until 11:30, 12, like, it's kind of hard to perform under those circumstances. Like, for one, the part I didn't like about the combine is us and how we were measured. We come in, we strip down to our tights, we walk behind this big curtain like here, and then it's lights shining on you just like in the studio. And you can't see when you first walk out because you're like, oh. And then you have, paint the picture in your mind. You have, a man on a loudspeaker saying, number W011. It's not Marquise Goodwin, okay? W011. Hand size, blah, blah, blah. Height, blah, blah, blah. Weight, blah, blah. And I'm just in my tights. And then you finally get your vision right, and you look out and you're like, oh, wow, it stands with people in them, with clipboards. And so you can faintly see them, but it's dark. They're kind of blurred out, muted. And so they're like, spread your arms, wingspan, blah, blah, blah. 180-degree turn, spread your arms, blah, blah, and they blurting out all these numbers and these measurements, and it's like, yeah.
It's a little weird. Yeah, that's definitely uncomfortable. I'm sure uncomfortable. It's just
absolutely
like a weird moment. And so I guess like transitioning out of that into I wanted to chat about the Olympics. What was just your thought process? I mean, it's like, again, your story is absolutely incredible, and playing two different sports at such a high level, and you're kind of, if I'm understanding the timeline right, you're prepping for the draft, but also you have like the Olympics. Again, was that a pivotal moment of like, man, I kind of made it in this, I made it to the Olympics. That's wild. What was just your thoughts and the feeling? And I know that, you go back to kind of some of that numbness a little bit that you had in college football moment, but can you kind of just explain what your thought process was and how you were feeling?
First and foremost, I'm honored to have represented my country and to put that red, white, and blue on. Like, that meant the world to me. I got goosebumps right now because coming from a small town, Lubbock, Texas, where I was born, grew up in Dallas, like, coming from where I'm from, people in general don't get to see the opportunities that I've been able to see and be a part of. So the Olympics was by far the best sporting experience that I've had to date. I remember walking into the stadium or that long walk, the opening ceremony, I felt so alive. I was invigorated, man, I'm walking next to KD, Kobe Bryant, Serena Williams, um, Michael Phelps, people of this status. And here I am, it's just little old me, like, I'm like, dang, well, I'm one of them now. Like, we all in this together, and we doing the same thing in our respective sports. So getting the experience that I think I got away from your question, but experiencing that was, mind blowing for me. And having the combine and everything in the forefront after that Olympic experience, that was wonderful in itself. And then being drafted, because it was something that was unexpected for me. I always knew that I would play in the NFL, but I just didn't know how I would get there. But I for sure knew that I could make it to the Olympics, because that is something that I required just my own ability. No politics involved, nobody else's play calling or decision making. It was really solely up to my eating habits, my sleeping habits, my training habits, all my good habits coming together and working out.
Yeah. Was there anything that you experienced or learned from the other athletes there? Some of the people you might have mentioned, even just seeing them, or any kind of behind the scenes stories?
Yeah, no behind the scenes stories. The Olympic Village is wild.
That's kind of what I've heard.
It's wild. But I'll just share, like, it was cool to talk with Kobe. Rest in peace to him. And see how down to earth all the athletes were. These people that we hold to such high regard. I just mentioned Kobe because he's not here with us anymore. But even LeBron James, KD, who is a UT alum, like, we sat and chopped it up for a minute. He knew who I was because, he follows the sports. He comes to the games, and so it was cool. We flicked it up. It was cool to see how these athletes respect our grind too, and our hustle, and how down to earth they really are, even if they have a certain stigma or a certain trait that people don't actually agree with or don't like, who don't have the opportunity to sit down and talk with them and get to know them and feel their vibe. It was cool to see that they just human.
Yeah, I feel like it's one thing to see somebody, on social media or on TV, and to judge them that way, versus to just like sit down when they're not have a camera in their face or microphones. And
exactly.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And I know that you mentioned, your words got it, like your mind is on the money in terms of football, and I think that's absolutely. But even after the Olympics, was there any sort of pivot from that? Were you you were just still like, football is my path after this? Yeah.
It's a crazy story, man. I'll keep it short.
Hey, we got time. No worries.
Crazy story, yes. So the finals of the Olympics, I was leading the world. And so the prelims, which is a 2-day event, I jumped the world, or I had the furthest jump on the first day. And if I had jumped that the next day, then I would have gotten a medal. But I ended up having like a sloppy finals day. And it just didn't work out. I ended up placing 10th in the world, where I was the favorite. Dream shattered, right? So I get back to the village, and I get back to my room, and I'm just like I'm like so torn by not winning or not even getting a medal. I just felt like I let everybody down. Then I get a call on my phone from a 214 area code, and I'm like, yo, who is, like, hello? And it's like, hey, son. And I'm like, I look at the phone like, what? Long story short, it ended up being my dad. He had got released from jail for a crime that he didn't commit. He had spent 2 years incarcerated. And so I felt like I got the win in that regard. God took what I thought I needed and gave, back a pivotal person in our lives, which he struggles now with schizophrenia because of that experience. So I kind of lost him anyways, but I was grateful for that moment, honestly, because like I said, I thought the medal was what I needed, but really in actuality, it just needed that call.
Yeah.
And I forgot where I was going with this.
We're just talking about like if you thought
yeah. And then after that, I got on the phone with the team, UT, and Coach Brown was like, "Yeah, when you coming back? We all watched. Keep your head up." He's very, very honest and very direct. He's like, "Yeah, we need you back at football." So I got in contact with the travel department for USATF, and they booked me a flight home that day. And like immediately after the competition, I flew back home, and I didn't even go unpack. Went right to football practice.
Wow.
And got ready for the 2013 season.
Yeah. And if you don't mind sharing, I'm sure that was a really powerful moment with your father. What was it kind of words of encouragement? It sounds like it probably was something along those lines. Is that?
Yeah, it was really words of affirmation for me because it was something that I've been praying for a while, since he had been incarcerated. And before, I had got a feeling just before the finals, a little doubt did creep in just because, I don't know, some doubt, because something just felt off.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, this better not be the time that I have a bad meet. Never would think like that ever because I'm super confident in my ability. And I just prayed about it. I prayed for him, and like I always did, and just prayed that everything go as God planned. Don't give me the win just because I say I want it. Let the cards land how they may.
Yeah.
And that ended up happening. So he didn't really, to answer your question, he didn't really have any encouraging words. It was just, hey, he was out. And that was encouraging enough for me at the time.
Yeah, and that feeling that you were talking about, was that like a pressure feeling? Was it like, you said you weren't nervous, you were really confident, but what was kind of that feeling? Was it just the grand stage of the Olympics, or just kind of a weird?
Because I was already there. I had already competed. I was on top. It was so I'm going to just keep it a buck. My coach at the time, he hadn't been there I was there in London for a whole month before, and he had another athlete that had already won an Olympic medal before. He was a UT alum also. He was on his way trying to find his way to gold. And he was traveling, around Europe with him and getting him right, which I understand, but it kind of left me by myself. Yeah. So I was kind of fending for myself for a month of training. He sent me my workouts and everything, but I had to grow up. That was like my coming to professional in track, my wake up call for track. Because that's how it is in Europe, you kind of fend for yourself. And he ended up showing up for me for the final day. After prelims, the final day at prelims, he was there, and then finals, and I just was I was pissed. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Pissed
off because I'm like, dang, you showing up when it count, but I've been here this whole time training with another coach. I was pissed at him. Yeah. And I kind of held that resentment in my heart, and God showed me that I shouldn't even have worried about it. I was too focused on. I didn't want him to get all the coaching credit, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was focused on the wrong thing. Yeah. Should have just focused on doing what he told me, and locking back in and just getting to it. And I was just really focused on trying to be petty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it didn't work out.
Yeah, it was almost like his even though he wanted to be helpful, his presence was like the opposite. It was super frustrating.
It pissed me off for real. It threw me all the way off.
Well, I know I've jumped around quite a bit, but I wanted to kind of transition into being drafted. And, I know you said you were not at all expecting the third round. Third round happened. Sounds like that was another one of those moments of like, you made it to the Olympics, you're drafted. Just what are the thoughts in that moment? Just like relief and like excitement, and talk to me about that moment.
That moment, bro, I remember what I had on. I had some basketball shorts on. I had a blue shirt with like a yellow Flash logo, like the Flash. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting outside throwing the football with my brothers. And my mom and my white mom, who we were at the house just hanging out with, Tammy, and my mom's name is Tamina. They were in the house, and one of my little brothers, Nick, he's like, bro, come in. And at the same time, I was already on the phone with the Bills, and they were like, yeah, we finna pick you up. So I'm on the phone. I'm like, what? I didn't know what round it was, anything. They were just watching it on TV, and I'm outside throwing the football.
You weren't even watching it at the moment?
I was not even watching. So they had to come outside and get me. And we ran in, and that's when they made the call in, like, third round, 78th pick. We drafted into the Buffalo Bills, Marquise Goodwin. And I just was like, wow, I'm getting drafted. Like, yeah, that was a huge moment for me, man.
Yeah. And so you drafted the Bills, and when was moving there kind of like the first time like away from home in that capacity, like living in a different state?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was the very first time.
Was that difficult for you, given?
Nah, it wasn't difficult in a sense of I had moved around with different families through high school, so I was kind of used to transitioning and adjusting. So that adjustment wasn't hard for me. What was hard was the only hard part was just being so far away from my family that it wasn't even a direct flight to get from Dallas to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like it was 2 or 3 flights, at least.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
And do you remember, I guess, what was your welcome to the league moment, maybe as a rookie or what was maybe your welcome to the league moment as a rookie?
Man, part of the reason my phone stays on Do Not Disturb, my rookie year I got fined for my phone going off in meetings. Yeah, I got fined $7,500.
For your phone going off? $7,500?
Actually, I lied. I got fined $10,000.
$10K for your phone going off?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Like, what was the context of that?
So, my coach was an asshole, Doug Marone, probably still coaching in the league somewhere. Most asshole person I've ever been around. Not afraid to say that, and I don't speak negatively about anybody. But hey, he kind of pooped on all UT players. I overheard him having a conversation with the offensive line. I was just I used to go to meetings super early for the simple fact I didn't want to get fined. Yeah. I didn't want to be late. So I'd get to the facility an hour and a half early. I'd do the sauna. I'd do the cold tub plunge. And then I'd shower, put my sweats on for the day, my team issue sweats. And I'm in the meeting room with my backpack, my binder, and I'm just in the meeting room. We had these big swivel chairs, like that you have like those big leather lazy boy chairs. And we had like built-in desks. So it was like one long desk across each row. It was like 5 rows. And I'd go in, sit down, and I'd turn away from the stage where the coaches, because they'd have a light shining down there. And so nobody would know you were in the room because the automatic lights would turn off once you sat there long enough. So I'd go in there and fall asleep. And I would hear everybody just day to day. They come in and have different convos. Nobody ever would know I was in there. So Doug came in, him and the offensive line, and he just came in ranting. It's like, yeah, I hate these Texas players. And I'm like, so I wake up as soon as I hear these Texas players, because it was 4 of us on the team. He was like, yeah, I'm getting rid of their asses. I'm getting rid of all of them. I just think they're soft. They get used to, they so used to having it good and blah, blah. And so I sit up in my seat and I'm like, hold on, coach. And he was like, oh, no, but not you. You're different. Like, you different. Did you go to Texas? Trying to act like I'm like, come on now. Like, but he was hired after the draft. He came from Syracuse. And the thing is he said that he didn't like Mac Brown because Mac Brown coached against him and would steal all his recruits at North Carolina. And the fact that we were so represented, you know, the Mac Brown era of Texas players, he just did not like any of us.
So you take it out on the players? That's
exactly. So in saying that, my sister, one of my sisters, she just called me maybe like 15 times. My phone was in my bag, and so I really wasn't paying attention to, you know, the phone going off and just ringing, and I'm like, somebody is getting fined today, because he already had made a statement like, no phones in the meetings. If it goes off, like, I'm fining you. No ifs, ands, or buts. So it wasn't just because I was a Texas player. That was just the team rule.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, like by the fifth or sixth rings, the fifth or sixth call, he's like, all right, whose effing phone is it? Everybody check and see who. And I went in my bag and it was my phone. I pulled the phone. I'm like, I turned it off, and he kept on with the meeting. He didn't say Marquise, so then he didn't single me out. And I got to my locker and I had an envelope, and we all know what those envelopes are. We call them FedExes. And yeah, it was a fine.
Jeez. And were there other, not just with you, but like with that coach, were there other kind of fines that were kind of he was outward about? Yeah.
Yeah, so one of my teammates, Marcel Darius, he's one of my favorite teammates. He played D-line. I think he was one of the first 100 million plus contracts, like one of the first people outside of QBs to get paid like one. He got fined $1 million in 1 year.
You can find $1 million in a year?
Yeah.
What happened?
Because he was late so many times, so they just max fined him. Like, yeah.
So was it like after? So what was like the set amount for if you were like late? Like if I came in late?
The max fine is $10,000.
So oh, wow.
Yeah, but I think it
just added up to.
Yeah, I think it might be like an even greater fine if you're late to like a practice or a game.
Got it.
Yeah, but if you just like late to meetings, you get max fine $10,000.
Yeah, but I mean, given his contract, was he kind of like, yeah, or was he like, dang?
I don't know. Okay. Like I never asked him, but he seemed pretty chill. Like would laugh it off. Like yeah, and still ball out. Like get a sack or two, and then he late the next week.
Yeah, I think Garrett talked about. I think Marcel smacked him in the championship, and he was just like,
"That's who hurt Colt McCoy."
Right? Yeah. So the man was a baller.
Baller.
So yeah, I guess, and then in terms of in game in the NFL, was there a or even in practice, I guess, aside from the fine, was there a moment like a hit or a catch or something, that really stood out to you that was like, okay, I'm in the league now?
I was running my very first catch in my very first game, the very first drive, I think the very first pass, the very first offensive series, I broke my hand. I broke my freaking hand. I was running a shallow route. This is not my wake up, like my welcome to the league moment, but I mean, kinda. But I'll give you my real one after this. Broke my hand. I was running a shallow route, and I kind of like was in between stopping and going, and so the QB threw me kind of like to leave me, and I should have made a decision and just hard stopped. because it was a linebacker sitting out there in the flat, but he was like buzzing to the flat and a little deep. And so by the time I caught it, I turned around and boom, smacked me. The ball, I fumbled everything and broke my hand. But they didn't believe that I broke my hand right off rip because I'm a rookie. And they like looking at me, everybody on the sideline like, yeah, you're right, your hand ain't hurt. Like, you just embarrassed that you fumbled because we turned the ball over. That was the first drive, like one of the first plays. And I end up turning the ball over. And they had the side eye. So I end up going back out on the next kick return, got smacked. I gained like 27 yards. And I'm just like, I come to the trainer like, man, look, my hand is hurting. It's like my glove is literally swelling. And they were like, okay, let's go in and get x-rayed. Went in, hands broken. Yeah. And
like I told you.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But my welcome to the league moment, I'm running that same type of route that I broke my hand on. It's called a shallow route, which is a 5-yard. I'm running like directly underneath the linebackers, but over the top of the offensive and defensive line. I'm running and there's nobody to the flat. And the quarterback then starts to scramble. And so I went to turn upfield and boom, Troy Polamalu smoked me. I mean, he damn near took my helmet off. And he's laughing. And I get up like livid. Like, I'm not trying to fight him because I super respected him. I loved this game, and he wasn't being an a-hole about it. He was like tapping me on the helmet. He was like, hey, he put his arm around me. I'm like at the ref. I'm talking to the ref. Imagine you're the ref. I'm like, ref, like the ref is like smirking and Troy is laughing. And I'm like, nah, like F this, like F these politics. Like Troy might have to see me after the game. Troy pulls me to the side and he was like, hey, if you're going to be mad at somebody, be mad at your coach. He should have told you that when a quarterback is scrambling, that it's free game. You can get hit, live bullets. So make sure next time, if your quarterback is going to be running, that you keep your head on a swivel. And I was like, oh, I'm mad at you, but thank you.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's fun. It's when I was talking to Kenyon Barner about his welcome to the league moment. It was when he was on the Panthers and he gets smacked by Luke Kuechly. And Luke was kind of like lecturing him of like, I didn't want to do that to you, but here's why, here's why that happened.
The greats always do that. Like, stop trying to be humble, dog. You wanted to do that.
Seriously, it's so funny because Kenyon was like, I should be mad at you right now, but I appreciate the feedback. Like, I want to be better. So that it's funny because it sounds like that was a very similar moment, and you were probably like, I appreciate that, but also, why am I appreciating that? That
right.
You just smacked me, and also, you're Troy Polamalu. What's up? Like, that's cool.
Like, can we trade jerseys?
Yeah. And it's switching topics a little bit, but it's. I wanted to go back into like the politics that you talked about, and politics being, maybe the coach having a little bias towards University of Texas players. I feel like that's one thing that I hear a lot and read a lot about is like, and it's probably a little bit more similar now with NIL, but that jump from college to the NFL and the NFL being a business. And were there other moments, maybe on other teams where, that was another realization that you kind of continued to have along with the find of like, oh, this is a business. Maybe this is why this happened or this panned out this way. Was there anything that kind of comes to mind that you could think about?
Yeah, I have a lot of moments that I could name. I'll just be general and saying like, yeah, from team to team, like it's all different types of politics, and luckily some of them played in my favor. Yeah. Especially when I played for the 49ers, like all the politics were in my favor. And so I'm super grateful for that organization. They kind of made me into the football player that people know me as. Kyle Shanahan, he believed in me probably more than any other coach that I've had other than Sanjay Law, who was my receiver coach. But Kyle, he's a UT alum, and he brought me to San Francisco to start his regime there. And, we had some low moments, but, yeah, he still believed in me and pulled for me. behind closed doors. So, I'm forever grateful for him, indebted to him. But as far as the politics that played a negative role on me, yeah, Cleveland has a knack for having like just terrible politics. I don't mean to talk bad about anybody because they gave me a home for a year. They fed me. They put money in my pockets, food on my table for a year. So I'm grateful for them. But I just don't like how the politics went when I was there.
Yeah.
But also a lot of it could have attributed to me being injured in the sense of having blood clots could have attributed to some of those politics as well. So I think it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought up. I was going to transition into that the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen the clip of you catching the touchdown, and how emotional that moment was for you. For those that may not know, could you kind of just touch on that moment in your life and why that happened and what happened?
Yeah, so which is why I wear all white all November, every day November, to honor that moment, the moments that my wife and I shared. November 2017 and 18, my wife and I lost 3 babies total to incompetent cervix, which basically means that her cervix was born without the band that essentially holds the baby up. And so after the baby becomes a certain weight in a certain part of the gestation, the sac will kind of protrude through the cervix. And once that happens and a rupture happens, pretty much you got to terminate the pregnancy. And that's what ended up happening. And so November 12th, 2017, on November 11th, my wife and I lost our first baby, and I was at the hospital till like 5 a.m, and she was pretty adamant that I should play in the game. I hadn't missed any games up until that point that year, so she was like, you shouldn't miss a game because of something that is outside of you. I think you should go represent, your family, your baby angel, and show the team that you're here for the organization, regardless of what happens. And I think that was huge of her to do. It speaks of her character and who she is as a person. She's a wonderful woman. And to say the least, we went out. We had lost all our games up to that point, and I ended up scoring my first touchdown of that year. I had been successful that year. Had got many catches, deep balls, had a lot of yards, I think maybe 500 up until that point, and it was like mid-season. And so, went and scored that touchdown, which helped the team win our first game of the year, and I feel like it was a really divine moment that we got to share with the world. And so I'm grateful for that moment, honestly. We now have 3 beautiful children, 3 angel babies that we still remember, which is why I wear my white. And I'm proud of that moment.
Yeah, I appreciate you talking about that. And did you kind of, did that stay? I'm sure that stuck with you for the rest of the season, even after that, and kind of, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but was maybe kind of a driving factor and just a force of motivation, right? Of just keep playing, keep going.
Absolutely. It was a driving force for me and the team. They adopted it as well. They would see me wearing all white. The reason I wore, let me finish this statement. They would see me wearing all white, and they kind of hopped on, and, I'd see a teammate here, a teammate there, each day. And then, eventually a lot of my teammates, majority of the team, would wear white just to kind of honor that moment, because they saw how it kind of kept me focused and drove me. So they kind of wanted to support me in that way. The reason for wearing all white is because imagine walking around all white with all white on. You have to watch what you eat, what you drink, where you sit, who's around you. Somebody drinking coffee or whatever. So you have to watch like everything outside of your body, what's going on, and you really don't get to reflect too much internally of what is happening. So it helped me stay out of my mind, helped me to stay focused on my daily activities and what I'm focused or have to focus on at work, and not really dwell on my losses. And I do it today now.
Yeah.
You know, and it helps me be intentional about like my walk and everything, my energy, protecting my surroundings, and not being too messy, like just being clean and intentional with every step.
Yeah. How did you come up with that, or how did you find that? Was that?
I don't know. It's just kind of through prayer, and it just kind of came to me. I was just asking God for different ways to keep my mind fresh and not dwelling on like the shortcomings, or what I viewed as shortcomings, which really were blessings in disguise, because it kind of shaped me into a better person.
100%. Yeah. And the reason I asked is just was really powerful. So that's awesome. And, you know, continuing your NFL career, I know I asked this about college, but I'm just curious, because the NFL is a little bit of a different beast than college. Was there anybody that, again, came close to your speed? And again, I know we talked about quickness being different than the straight line speed, but I watched a clip last night of you just torching Darrelle Revis, one of the best NFL cornerbacks ever. But whether it was, you know, a DB or another wide receiver on another team or even a running back, was there anybody that compared to your speed?
Not until year 10, when I was with the Seahawks. Tariq Woolen, very fast, which is why he's pretty elite at corner. Yeah. He's the only one that came close. Yeah. The only one. I mean, I can't name. Maybe a teammate that I had, T.J. Graham, Jacoby Ford. He was fast. C.J. Spiller.
Oh yeah.
They have track backgrounds as well. But as far as defensively, Tariq is the only one who came close, which is why it was easy for me to just. I don't understand why I didn't have like 100 touchdowns. Because I mean, I do on the game.
Yeah, 100%.
When I'm playing Madden, I got 100 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think your speed was like 99 or something like that.
Yeah. So I never could get the concept of why we couldn't just try 5-6 bombs a game.
It's hilarious.
Like how they do for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's elite.
Yeah.
In his speed.
But it's funny you say that, because as I was watching a bunch, I felt like a scout. I was watching a bunch of your film last night and yesterday, and I was like, I seriously had the same realization. I'm like, why didn't they just send it to Marquise like 5 to 7 times a game? And just, if half of those, if a quarter of those hit, that's touchdown every time. I mean, yeah. Was that ever like a moment you were kind of pitching to coaches of like it just, or even the quarterback of various teams?
See, that's a downfall that I have in my career. I always took pride in not having to go to coach or go to my quarterback and ask for the ball at any point. Even when I was the number 1 receiver on my team,
yeah,
I never at any point said, "Hey, y'all give me the ball." Not that I didn't want the ball. I just feel like that's not my job.
Yeah.
Like, and I've always tried to move as a humble guy. And I just felt like that people who did that, coaches kind of want you to do that. But then when you do it, it's like people see you as an a-hole.
Right.
And I never wanted to be seen as that, because I can get there for sure.
Yeah.
Like, but I just don't want to be seen as that until I have to be there. And I don't feel like, me asking for the, I don't like it.
The tape probably spoke for itself. I mean, there's probably times where you look back and you're like, you know, you didn't say it, but you're like, see, I was open right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, probably all the time.
Like, yeah. So why would I ever have to ask for anything? And I realized, like, even looking back, or I look at NFL films of, you know, these receivers or tight ends or, you know, running backs demanding the ball. I'm like, that ain't my way.
Yeah.
I'm not. That never was a part of my game. I wasn't allowed to do that in Pop Warner, in high school, in college. So, you know, I don't see why that would change in the NFL.
Yeah. And given your speed and given your your background with track and field, you kind of talked about we just talked about some of the teammates that were quick but or fast. But did you ever feel like you were kind of like singled out? Like teammates were like, oh, this okay, like they would challenge you because you were like they knew you as like the track and field guy. Where they're like, oh, I'll race you in practice. Like, come on now.
Yeah. I got good and bad challenges.
Okay.
I wouldn't say bad, but the good challenges, yeah, I'd have, DK Metcalf. I love him. He thought he could beat me just because I was like 32 on his team when I was on his team, and he'd be like, "Yeah, he'd say to the media, yeah, I'm the fastest on the team." Whether it be a joke or not, I'm like, I take pride in it because I'm like, I'll race you for real. Like, but let's do it during camp where we have fans in the stands and they can see. Like, let's not do it under the radar. I want to do this. And he never would race me, and our coaches never would let us race. But I remember one kind of bad instance where or a few times where we would be conditioning, right? And some of my teammates who were older at the time would be like, "Hey, you need to be winning every conditioning rep." I'm looking at them like, okay, one, you're not winning any of them. Two, why am I expected to win all of them? I'm making my time. Yeah. It's like I have to win all of them. Like,
also, this isn't track and field practice. This is football practice.
Exactly. Yeah. But so I'd had those general statements from, teammates. Like, they just gave me.
Yeah. And I know the Seahawks was towards was that the last team that you?
Second to
last team.
Yeah.
Towards the latter half of your career. When did you kind of officially hang up the cleats?
I haven't officially hung them up, which is why I'm in pretty good shape now. Like, I still train daily. You are officially retired if you don't do it yourself. After 2 football seasons, they'll go ahead and do it. And so I'm just banking on them doing it. I never wanted to turn my own papers in because I didn't want to feel like I left anything on the table or quit. I kind of knew after my last year with the Browns that was probably going to be my last opportunity unless, somebody needed a player. But again, I'm not reaching out to these teams either. Yeah. Like I'm just not that guy. Yeah. I'm only going to come if you want me to come. I'm not going to beg anybody for a position to be a part of anything because that gives them leverage to treat you how they want to and talk to you how they want to, and that's just not my style.
Yeah. Well, if you had a choice, given any of the situations you see in the league, yeah.
Yes.
Right, you play here? Dallas.
No. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. Hell no.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there a team that you'd choose to play for?
I would for sure, but no. I would like to finish my career as a 49er, man. Like, if I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
That was the best organization anybody could ever play for. Yeah. I mean, the support and the love you get, even from the people in the past. Jerry coming back, the greatest receiver ever, and me getting knowledge from him and him really showing me different nuances about the game. And Kyle Shanahan was like the best head coach that I've ever had. Him and Pete Carroll, they top 2. Yeah, I mean, everything about the organization. Napa's right there, and I'm a wine connoisseur. Yeah. So, I love everything about the 49ers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. You mentioned wine. Is there anything that, I know it's only been, a couple years, a few years, but is there any hobbies, interests, pursuits? Like what's happening right now in Marquise's life?
What's happening right now?
Still training, sounds like.
Oh, still training, yeah. I didn't get a session in this morning because I had to go visit my mom. She's in the hospital right now, but she's good. She's on the recovering end, so everything is good. But training. I'm fathering to my 3 beautiful kids. I'm diving into some. I'm becoming an author.
I wanted you to mention your book, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm writing an autobiography. It's about, my life journey up until the NFL draft. The NFL draft is like kind of the eclipse of the story. Or the climax of the story. I'm working on a 5-part series coloring book for my daughter.
Oh, nice.
I'm an artist, so I paint and draw and do digital artwork. I just finished the first series, so it's in a publication phase. And I'm also working on an aviation children's book for my son. It's about just my son. He's in love with planes. Marquise Jr., by the way. I have 2 sons, Marquise and Million. And Marquise he loves aviation. I do too. I just finished pilot school. I got my first 2 licenses.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. So I fly planes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different people call them side quests.
Yeah.
They call me side quest Keith. But I enjoy aviation. I love getting in the sky, and I love traveling. Getting ready to go to China in a couple of days for a youth flag football camp put on by NFL China. So I'm doing different events with the NFL, and I'm just staying busy.
Yeah. Do you have titles for either the book series and your own book yet? Just so people can find them when they come out?
Yeah. So the title of my daughter's coloring book series is Color the World with Murray. And I could send you the PDFs or anything if you need them. My son's book is The Sky Belongs to You. And then my book will be called The Marquise Cut. Yeah. Diamond in the Rough.
You're just, family man, author, creator. What's the future for Marquise? What is there any? I mean, to your point, you're such a side quest maven. You do all these things, but is there do you want to just keep trying things? You want to keep being, it sounds like you have a lot of creative outlets. Is there something that you've always wanted to try and do?
Yeah, I want to see where my art and my literature skills could take me.
Yeah.
Yeah, between art and writing books and aviation. I fly planes, as I mentioned, and I love to fly. So just see where that could take me. Eventually, how I see my life panning out is I'm this really well-known artist who used to play sports.
Yeah.
That's not the big part of my life anymore, playing sports. I'm a really, really known artist and author.
Yeah.
Who has his own aviation company that flies these different high-profile people around the world. And yeah,
that's awesome. And
that'd be dope.
100%. And that's the whole, that's one of the main reasons why we started this show is a lot of former athletes just have, and current athletes have pursuits outside of sports. And it's you're one persona. Yes, you're an athlete, but there are a ton of other things that you and a lot of the other people I've spoken with have just passion, pursuits in.
Yeah.
And so I want this platform to be a place where, you can talk about it, and also people that maybe were big fans of you in the NFL or big fans of you in college or high school or, your running career can come back and be like, oh, I would love to buy one of Marquise's books. I'd love to engage with some of his art and stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you talking about that and
Absolutely.
talking about your pursuits and passions. But I think
can I get one more thing out?
By all means, yeah.
I gotta give a shout out to my wife, Morgan Goodwin. Her book is about to drop, Incompetent But Hopeful, and it's talking about our journey with losing kids and regaining faith and being allowed the opportunity to become parents. So that book is going to drop in the beginning of next year. She's a track athlete as well, world junior champion. But yeah, I had to give a shout out to my wife.
Yeah, absolutely. Your partner in crime. Love it.
You already know.
Yeah. Man, Marquise, I really, really appreciate the time. And this has been an awesome, awesome conversation. You have an incredible story. And yeah, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for watching another Where Are They Now show. My name is Adam Faris, your host. Make sure to like and subscribe as it really helps us out, and click that bell so you will never miss a future video. And don't forget that we look at all the comments. We listen to you guys. So in the comments, let us know who we should sit down with next and answer the question of Where Are They Now?